Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from God FM, and today I want to talk about your brain and how it connects up with your back. And your back is part of the brain, all down your spine, and how it connects up with your central nervous system, your biometrics, your chakras, and also how it connects up with the Lord. But also it is your senses and your projection, your imaging of who you are and all that you have become since your inception. So, like a computer, your brain is the same. And this is why your brain is under attack through the new system they're trying to implement, where they will wipe your mind and they will take your mind and replace your mind and memories through the lights, the laser technology, which I have been talking about, which the Lord has made me privy to, which is the simple system of wiping a computer, reinstalling software through laser technology. You burn an image onto a disc or music onto a plastic disc or a USB, and you can also burn an image for Windows 10 onto a USB or a plastic disc. And you could also make music and put it onto a disc by burning it onto there. And in the same way, you have an imaging system in your brain that retains information and stores information. And there are certain things that affect the brain in its storage and its ability to access certain information and control centers for your nervous system, your body, your mind, your thoughts, your memories, and your perceptions, your senses, and your biometrics and chakra are all essential and integral parts of your operation, which connect with the ether, which is the symbol of a triangle and a triangle. The triangle, on top of the triangle, is the six-pointed star, which the fake children of God use as their symbol, and this represents the ether. And the ether would also, if activated within you, would connect your central nervous system, your mind, your biometrics, to the Z chromosome, which is currently not active inside your blood. It is activated by sound, hence the burning of CDs through Nero on a computer onto a disc. They can do the same with lights and sound onto your brain, burning images and taking and hijacking your mind and your soul, and put you into the metaverse. And this is very serious, what I'm talking about. I want you to be aware of the construct of the current operations of all of the electricity, the gas, the water, the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, the vaccinations, the nanotechnology, the spraying us like bugs, and all of those things are connected with the takeover of the human race and the wiping out of all living things, the farming and the trafficking of people's minds, bodies, and souls, which the Bible talks about. And the Lord very clearly tells you about this in the Revelation, that these people are dealers and buyers and sellers of people's minds, bodies, and souls. So in this operation of buying and selling and stealing people's minds and souls, there is, of course, the recruitment of the participants that have to actually commit the crimes to steal the minds and the souls of people. Now, obviously, when you have a bank account and you've got a lot of money in it, and there is a thief that wants access, quite often what will happen is they will take a little bit first, and then they will take a little bit more. And if you don't notice, then they'll keep doing it until really you got nothing left. Or they might just take a little bit and check that the transaction completed successfully, and then they would take the rest. Okay, right. So in the same way, when it is done on one bank account, okay, then you go, well, this is quite nice. We managed to get all their money, and the person has been wiped out, and the police won't do anything, so we could do it to anyone else we like now. So this is kind of the gang stalking operation that we currently have in place. And this is important. I want to talk about it because it's integral to the takeover. The World Economic Forum's intention is to wipe your minds, to take your minds, and to replace your minds, to take your dreams, and to basically make it so that you have to purchase intelligence from your government. Now, there is one way you can tell if this is happening to you. If you are no longer dreaming, then this is already happening to you. They are already in your brain, and they are taking a little bit out of the bank account. Okay? And what can you do to stop this? Well, get some magnets and start magnet massaging your mind, your brain, your neck, and your back. Because your back and your neck and your head are all connected to your nervous system, your senses, and these are the controls, if you like. So, we are made in the image of God, and it's all about thinking, and then writing in ink, speaking and manifesting and believing through our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Thine is the kingdom, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So this is where prayer and taking the image from creation and manifesting from inception, the ink, the think, and to the image to manifest. So the image is the key element of this, the image of God or the image of the beast. Now the image of the beast, as we know in the Bible, is what they want us to worship. Now what is this image of the beast? Well, it is precisely what I've been warning you about. This is this new system, and they will make it so that you cannot have children, and you cannot have a mind. You will not be able to think, and they will make it so that you will buy your children from the government, and you will buy intelligence from the government. This is a very serious broadcast, and I'm asking you all to please share it. This is privy information from the Lord. I can tell you that I'm nothing special, but the Lord has made me aware of the operations and how it all works. Why? Well, because I'm a victim of targeting and hacking and stalking by gang stalkers who are buyers and sellers of minds and souls, and adrenochrome, trafficking of people's organs and body parts, all is part of the same operation, so they can feed on it. When you sell your soul, your life is in the blood, and your blood dies, and your body basically dies, and your soul leaves, and they take your soul. How do they do this? Well, they put you in a state where you're dead, virtually dead, and your consciousness is no longer there. And then your soul will depart. And this is how they're robbing people of souls and minds. If you have a soul and you want to keep it, then my intention is that I will show you how to keep your soul today. I have now, when I go out, started to talk to people about their souls. And I say, have you got a soul? Do you know if you've got a soul? Yes, they say. Would you like to keep your soul? Yes, I want to keep my soul. All right then. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? And then I go on about Jesus, because he died so that we can be resurrected from the dead. Now this is a very, very important part of this recipe to maintain your sanity, your mind, your soul, and your consciousness and connection with God. In Jesus dying and crossing over, he already completed that element, so we don't need to die to cross over. He created a bridge for our brain, which is our nervous system and our consciousness and our soul, to communicate with God. To take the ink and the link and the written ink into an image, to manifest the creation as we see through God, to manifest the written words of God and his Bible into this reality. This is part of who we are. And Jesus was able to move mountains. And he said, wait until my brothers and sisters come and they will be able to do greater things than this. And so we can only do this if all the bits and pieces are connected properly, operating properly, and we are in the image of God, manifesting his image, connected to his server, his computer network, yeah, because this is like a network, and not to the devil's network. So this is also why we've got to be earthed. We are conductors, and electricity is dangerous. It's a trickery. Electrickery, teach no logic, technology, and digital, where they've buried all the technology, and it's to dig it up out of the floor. And they buried all the bells on Belgrave Road in England, on all the Belgrave roads, because it's all about sound frequencies. So there's a lot you can do. You can get yourself some music tongs, and you can get, like I call it, a dinger, and some magnets, and start going around digging around your house. This will activate the new frequencies and vibrations around your home and inside your brain. What we really need is we need the bells back. We need something that would pulsate a frequency to put an end to the current frequencies coming from the 5G towers. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but for you independently, you need to maintain who you are, and you need to understand what I'm talking about, and it really is important. People are saying to me that if they are saved in Jesus, then they are safe. Well, you must know that I don't believe that. I actually believe that people die for lack of knowledge, like the Bible tells me. And the Lord, you can see when he writes this, is very upset by this, that people die for lack of knowledge, because no one has taught us. And they have led us astray. So everything in place is to mislead you to believe that everything is safe and good, but it isn't. Okay. So I decided to have a look at what the brain is. I am also learning, so please bear with me, okay? But this is important, because I think it might help us understand why the child-eating, blood-drinking, psychopath gang stalkers are an integral part of this operation, the mind hack, the mind hijack. The stealing of people's minds and souls is all through gang stalkers who are given gift cards to point laser lights at your back and your mind, to steal and hijack your mind and your soul, as well as the lights that are outside that can triangulate your location through your phone, which has 4G or 5G or 6G in it. And your phone is now an interface, I've already told you, and mirrors as well, connected with CERN. CERN is a device that is used to transport the spiritual entities and transform time, space, and matter. They are angles. I've already told you about angles and English being Anglophone, and that's why you have a phone. All right. So they're angels and fallen angels, and they are moving into this reality. The only thing that stops us from being affected from the other reality that you can't see is God. But he does tell you that this would change, and we're in that time. So it's important to listen. So the human brain is the central organ of the nervous system, and with the spinal cord comprises of the central nervous system. It consists of the cerebrum and the brainstem and the cerebellum. The brain controls most of the activities of the body, processing, integrating and coordinating the information it receives from the sensory nervous system. The brain integrates sensory information and coordinates instructions sent to the rest of the body. Okay, and so we've got now some diagrams. The cerebrum, the largest part of the human brain, consists of two cerebrum hemispheres. Each hemisphere has an inner core composed of white matter and an outer surface, the cerebral cortex, composed of grey matter. The cortex has an outer layer, the neurocortex, and an inner allocortex. The neocortex is made up of 6 neuronal layers, while the allocortex has 3 or 4. Each hemisphere is divided into 4 lobes: the frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital, and lobes. The frontal lobe is associated with executive functions, including self-control, planning, reasoning, and abstract thought, while the occipital lobe is dedicated to vision. Within each lobe, cortical areas are associated with specific functions, such as the sensory, motor, and association regions. Although the left and right hemispheres are broadly similar in shape and function, some functions are associated with one side, such as language in the left and visual spatial ability in the right. The hemispheres are connected by commissarial nerve tracts, the largest being the corpus callosum. The cerebrum is connected by the brainstem to the spinal cord. The brainstem consists of the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla oblongata. The cerebellum is connected to the brainstem by 3 pairs of nerve tracts called cerebellar peduncles. Within the cerebrum, the ventricular system, consisting of 4 interconnected ventricles in which the cerebrospinal fluid is produced and circulated. Underneath the cerebral cortex are several structures, including the thalamus and epithalamus, the pineal gland, and the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the subthalamus. The limbic structures, including amygdala, the hippocampi and the claustrum, the various nuclei and basal ganglia, the basal forebrain structures, and 3 circumventricular organs. Brain structures that are not on the midplane exist in pairs. For example, there are 2 hippocampi and 2 amygdalae. The cells of the brain include neurons and supportive glial cells. There are more than 86 billion neurons in the brain and a more or less equal number of other cells. Brain activity is made possible by the interconnections of neurons and the release of neurotransmitters in response to nerve impulses. Neurons connect to form neural pathways, neural circuits, and elaborate network systems. The whole circuitry is driven by the process of neurotransmission. The brain is protected by the skull, suspended in cerebrospinal fluid, and isolated from the bloodstream by the blood-brain barrier. However, the brain is still susceptible to damage, disease, and infection. Damage can be caused by trauma or a loss of blood supply known as a stroke. The brain is susceptible to degenerative disorders such as Parkinson's disease, dementias including Alzheimer's disease, and multiple sclerosis. Psychiatric conditions including schizophrenia and clinical depression are thought to be associated with the brain dysfunctions. The brain can also be the site of tumors, both benign and malignant. These mostly originate from the other sites in the body. The study of the anatomy of the brain is neuroanatomy, while the study of the function of neuroscience, numerous techniques are used to study the brain. Specimens from other animals which may be examined microscopically have traditionally provided much information. Medical imaging technologies such as function neuroimaging and electroencephalography, EEG, recordings are important in studying the brain. The medical history of people with brain injury has provided insight into the function of each part of the brain. Neuroscience research has expanded considerably, and research is ongoing. In culture, the philosophy of mind has for centuries attempted to address the question of the nature of the consciousness and the mind-body problem. The pseudoscience of phrenology attempted to localize personality attributes to regions of the cortex in the 19th century. In science fiction, brain transplants are imagined in tales such as 1942 Donovan's Brain. Very interesting. Then we've got the gross anatomy. The adult human brain weighs on average 1.2 to 1.4 kilograms, which is about 2% of the total body weight, with a volume of around 1,260 centimeters cubed in men and 1,130 centimeters cubed in women. There is a substantial individual variation, with the standard reference range for men being 1,180 to 1,620, which is 2.60 to 3.57 pounds, and for women 1,030 to 1,400 grams, or 2.27 to 3.09 pounds. The cerebrum consists of the cerebral hemisphere, forms the largest part of the brain, and overlies the other brain structures. The outer region of the hemispheres, the cerebral cortex, is the grey matter consisting of cortical layers and neurons. Each hemisphere is divided into 4 main lobes: the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, and the occipital lobe. 3 other lobes are included by some sources, which are central lobe, limbic lobe, and insular lobe. The central lobe comprises of precentral gyrus and the postcentral gyrus, and is included since it forms a distinct functional role. The brainstem, resembling a stalk, attaches to the leaves of the cerebrum at the start of the midbrain area. The brainstem includes the midbrain and the pons and the medulla oblongata. Being behind the brainstem is the cerebellum, Latin little brain. The cerebrum, brainstem, cerebellum, and spinal cord are covered by 3 membranes called meninges. The membranes are the tough dura mater, the middle arachnoid mater, and the more delicate inner pia mater. Between the arachnoid mater and the pia mater is the subarachnoid space and the subarachnoid cisterns, which contain the cerebrospinal fluid. The outermost membrane of the cerebral cortex is the basement membrane of the pia mater, called the glia limitans, and is an important part of the blood-brain barrier. In 2023, a 4th meningeal membrane has been proposed, known as the subarachnoid lymphatic-like membrane. The living brain is very soft, having a gel-like consistency similar to soft tofu. The cortical layers of neurons consist much of the cerebral grey matter, while the deeper subcortical regions of the myelinated axons make up the white matter. The white matter of the brain makes up about half of the total brain volume. And then it goes on about the cerebral is the largest part of the brain and is divided into symmetrical left and right hemispheres by deep grooves, the longitude fossa. A symmetry between the lobes is noted as a petalia. The hemispheres are connected by 5 commissures, the span of longitudinal fossa. The largest of these is the corpus callosum. Each hemisphere is conventionally divided into 4 main lobes: the frontal lobe, the parietal. So we've talked about this already. Okay, so what am I trying to tell you? Your brain is connected to your spinal cord. If you're still listening, well done. And what they are trying to do, alright, in simple terms, okay, is they have put things in the air, they have put things in the food, and most importantly, they have modified the toilet pipes. They have put machinery and devices in all of the drains. Okay. And this releases frequencies and sounds, rewriting images on your brain, which is then connected to your toilet and your fridges and your washing machines, your boilers, your electrical smart meters are all connected along with your phone, your telephone number, your Wi-Fi, where they can see into your house without a camera, just by mapping your area out through this technology of the lights and the Bluetooth, and the lights are Wi-Fi. And they are also frequency emitters, because everything's about frequencies, and you can rewrite someone's brain through the laser of the lights and the frequencies of the lights and the combination of the frequencies in the brain, because you're walking with your feet and your souls are on your feet. Yes. So this then takes the instructions. So as the nano goes into your body, if you were to pour some sand in a glass of water, the sand would fall to the bottom of the glass of water because it's heavy. So if you are breathing and eating all of this stuff that they are putting into the atmosphere, then it will sink to the bottom and it will be at your feet, and your feet connect you to the nervous system. And then with the stuff they put in the toilet, that crawls up your spinal cord, up to your claustrum, your brain. It reproduces and is activated by the lights, and it sends things down your neural pathways like a computer and rewrites your brain. In simple terms, takes your soul and your mind. You need to listen, because this is a takeover of everybody, not just me. There are integral operations that take place with the gang stalkers, that they have put this stuff in place for the people who have not taken their injections and are Christians, and they are actively hunted by gang stalkers for the souls and minds of those people. Now, the way they take a soul is like so. They will put that person into a state of unconsciousness, a coma. Then they will take and snatch that soul between dream state and death state. And they would take your soul, and they would take your consciousness and your mind, are the same thing. Okay? Your brain is a operator. It's like the engine. Okay. Wisdom comes not from the brain. Wisdom comes from God. But it has a storage area, okay, like a filing cabinet in your brain. And your DNA, your blood, contains the instructions of your DNA makeup of who you are. And it also contains all of your history of your blood lineage of who you are, because it is encoded in the neural pathways which give instructions and are released according to where you are in life. This is why John writes in the Bible that you will know the truth. And when you know the truth, in 1 John 2, is it 2 John 1? He says, when you know the truth, you will realize that you always knew the truth, because it is encoded into your blood. And your blood pumps your heart. But it also pumps your brain and your consciousness. And, like when you play a computer game, you can't go on to stage 2 until you've done stage 1. So, but if someone kept blocking the connection for the internet, then the computer wouldn't work, or the game wouldn't work. So what I found with these guys is they have jammers that jam the signals for my phone and for my computer and for my Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or anything if I want to capture these people on camera. Now, these same jamming signals are used against you through the lights. Oh, it's so hard to explain it. And the frequencies of the drains, combined with what's crawled up your bum and you've breathed in, this is now sunk to your feet, and you're now like an antenna, and they are uploading everything that's in your blood, your consciousness, to the cloud and stealing people's minds and consciousness. It's so simple. If you're not dreaming and you don't remember your dreams, this is part of the jamming and the takeover of your consciousness. They're stealing your dreams. This is theft of mind. This is happening across the world, and you need to wake up to it. It's serious. And this is why there are people who don't seem to be the same anymore, because they've been taken out. They're no longer there. When they want to take a soul, they replace their soul with something else. Another entity goes inside. And then that person wakes up and continues on. Okay? But the soul is in the blood. And the soul is connected with your consciousness. And it's the computer operating system, veins, which are your wiring. And they, with the gang stalking, what they do, they come in the house and they rewire the house, right? So they can emit frequencies and do harm to people. But in the same way, they are trying to rewire you through neural pathways that they are now creating with nanotechnology that is activated by the lights and can grow the length of an arm from a tiny speck inside your blood. And what happens is your body reacts to this. And this is an alien inside you. And you become unwell. And people have heart attacks and strokes because the stuff's too big to be going around the bloodstream inside the brain. And it's connected with your claustrum. And that's why Klaus Schwab is called Klaus Schwab. Because this is like a matrix. And their names tell you who they are and what they're doing. Okay. What else can I tell you that will help you? The idea is that electricity is the opposite to the natural current flow of the earth. They've taken the natural free electricity and converted it to not free electricity from the reset. And this is key to what is happening to us. It's been going on for a while, combined with aerials and lights. So to make the electricity charged for, which is already free, they put an AC and a DC on it. So you've got positive and negative. And then you've got an earth wire. Now the earth wire is the free electricity. If you attach to an earth wire a positive and a negative wire, you can now have electricity. This is how the drug people grow their marijuana. Have you ever wondered why the drug growing people know how to do that? Well, it's connected with the governments. And this is why they're so determined to control it with the drugs, all right? Because the drugs and all of those things are connected with the other realms that you can't see. So you get to see what is between the dream state and the death state when you take drugs. And there's another drug that you can take, and it's like what they release when you die. What's it called, Lord? DDT? Okay, something like this. It's a drug you can take, and it's what you have when you die. I've taken it, and I didn't like it, and I prayed to God about it when I was doing it, but I wanted to see what it was all about. Not because I'm a drug addict, but because I wanted to test and see what it was, and it was horrible. I can tell you that between this reality and the other reality is a reality you don't really want to see. Okay? And they're trying to take you there. It's a kind of holding place. It's a place of separation from the Lord. But it's in this reality and it's also outside of this reality. So the thought of what you have in your mind is not real until you make it happen. That's the place I'm talking about. It's really hard to explain it. And this is the place that they're operating from with the lights and with the electricity, this place. And that's where the instructions are that are re-encoding your mind and your soul. This place. And they have control over this place because it's between the place of death and reality. What is real and what is not real. But this is the place where you create the image. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lord. It's hard to explain it. So basically, God had to think, and then he wrote it in ink, and then it became an image, right? So between the think and the ink and the image is where they live. This taking control of you is in that section of your brain, which is the claustrum, which is the Christos oil, which runs up and down your back and also controls your nervous system, your chakra, your control and connection to the ether and reality itself. This is the between the death and reality state. I don't really know if there's a name I could call it, Lord. What can we call it? Oh, the abyss. Oh, okay, yes, right. The abyss, right. So that's what the Lord says it is. It's the abyss. The abyss has been opened using the CERN, but your washing machine is a CERN. Okay, it's not different. It's the same thing. Right. So this is to try and take you but to that place, the abyss, which is between the think and the ink and the image. Now, when I burn a computer and I want to write a disk, I have to burn an image. They're at that point between the think and the ink and the image. Right. So if you don't want the image of the devil, this is very deep, very hard to get your head around. Sorry, guys. Then you've got to be in the image of God. How do you be in the image of God? By following God. By being actually, literally, hands tied to a Bible. This is where you have to cling on to God with all of your life. Because God is the only thing that separates us from that place that they want to put you in, which is the state between death, dream, and non-reality. God's children are real. They are called is real because they are in the reality between the think image. They are the real image because they have been made in the image of God and they are real images of God. But the non-images of God are the image of the beast, which are the think, ink, and the lights, the beast system, which has been burnt into their consciousness between this reality and the other, of the dream and the sleep, and the death of the abyss. The abyss is the metaverse and the world of the dead, and it is also the place where the demonics live. As I say, it is right next to our reality. You cannot see it, but it doesn't mean you cannot. It's not real. It is real. Okay? But it's not real until it manifests from the think, ink, and image. This is why the image of the beast is so integral that you do not take on the image of the beast and follow the image of the beast. You have to separate yourself to protect yourself from the image of the beast. And how do you do this? By doing the prayer that Jesus tells you. Now, Jesus tried to tell us lots of things and warn you about this system. And all of what Jesus said is encoded with a secret message. Okay. The burglar will come through the window. What window will the burglar come through? to rewrite your image through Windows 10. That window. Because here will be called Microsoft Word, and God is the Word. So the image will be implanted in your brain through the window. Be careful you don't lose your saltiness, because you'll only be good for the rubbish heap. It's basically telling you that if you don't have your salt in you, the parasites, the nano, will take hold and create a new image, and you'll be only good for the rubbish heap, because the devil eats the soil, and that only happens when you become so ill soil with parasites. You only get parasites when you die. So they're pulling parasites in your body because the devil is dead, lived backwards, and everything in the world of the dead is backwards. It is a mirror image of what we see. So it's a reality of a different reality of non-reality. That's why God's children are real. It's all in the words. Okay, so you have to believe, right? Be God, B-L, I Eve. Okay. So the reason it's called believe is because what Eve did is she ate from this apple, which took her and Adam out of the image, and we became followers of a different image. But because God loved us, he separated us by creating a reality, and that's why we're saved through Israel. This is very amazing. Okay, so Adam is an atom as well, but it's also a 12 nucleus. And the 12 nucleus is the 12 tribes of Israel. And this forms a construct of reality. So the non-reality forms reality through a process. And the process is the light and the water and the earth. Okay. So if you want a plant to grow, you have to water it and put sunshine on it, and it will grow. So just like, and they become real, right? Not just a seed. And this is why God refers to his word as the seed, because everything he says is a code to try and tell you, because he couldn't say it plainly, right? And so the seeds that he's planted are his words, all right? And for you to be real, those seeds have to grow. And the only thing that'll make it grow is the words of God, because it's real, right? Between the ink and the think and the image, right? And the blood, which is your soul, which also has to grow, and that will happen through the sunlight. But the Son of the Bible is the Son of Jesus, as in Jesus, the sunlight, who is the bread, the be read, the go spell, and he wants to be together to get her, right? So in order for you to join God and be reunited, Jesus had to die here to take us out of this reality of this image, think ink image, to God's image, so that we can be like God and create in his image, right, with salt. Otherwise, parasites take over, and they reconstruct, and they take over, and they rewrite your code in your brain and in your mind and in your blood, which is your neural pathway, which is the claustrum, which is your back. Your back is the main part of this whole system. Your back controls and connects to your brain. And if they hijack this area, it will control everything. And this is why they take over the toilet. Okay. The toilet, then the things crawl up your bum, between the lower and smaller intestine, and then they hijack the bloodstream. And they reconnect their own neural pathway and connections to your brain, so that the lights, when they're pointed at you, are rewriting your code and burning a new image into your mind. And this will be a consciousness rob, a theft, at a mass scale that is taking place and already has taken place. And I must warn you of it, because I understand it. Only because God showed me for me. Now I understand even more of it. It's very hard to comprehend and grasp. It's very hard. But the only way God can explain it to you is, can you make a flower? Can you make a seed and put it in the ground and make that flower grow? You cannot. Because God can do that only. Right. So you have to believe me. Because God is the only way. He already died. He crossed over from this state where we are. Where we are now. Okay? That's why the Bible was written for us for today. Oh, it's beautiful. It's very amazing. And you are saved through the blood of Christ, which is his operating system connected to the Lord. And he is the head. Okay? And we are the body. And that's why we've got to have the back connected to God. We can't let anything take over our back or get into our bloodstream. So what can you do? You can make sure you're careful what you're breathing now. You can make up a paste, which is no, it's not. It's Damascus earth with olive oil, and put it up your nostrils. Put it inside your mouth. Put it in your ears. Any opening, bum, willy, vagina, armpits, belly button. Okay, regularly. Start eating this stuff as well and having it in your food. Basically, you need to be careful about what you're eating. If you're a targeted individual, these guys are poisoning your food. They literally are. So they can take your soul. Because they've got it all programmed on their local system to rewrite your image. They've already bought you. Now you've got to make sure that you hold on to your soul. And the only way is through the light of Christ. You have to become the light so that you activate reality to the people around you. This is why you now are a planter, just like Jesus tells you, that when you receive the truth of Christ, you have to become a preacher and a teller of the truth. You mustn't hide it. So it is your duty, because you've been saved, to save the others also. That's why you've got to be talking about God and the light and the truth, because this reality is activated, the God reality of the image of God is activated through the spoken word and the read of the Bible. Because he is the bread, read. And he wants you to be ready, and he wants you to read why. Right? So that's why it's important, because it gives you all the skills for the operating system to burn the image of God into who you are. And it literally is burning it into you. We need to make sure that this image is burned so strong, nothing can rewrite it. Okay. But this is all about your brain and the claustrum and the back. And you need to do everything you can to stay in Christ. The light and the water, the living water, if you are be saved by Christ, you can make living water. And this is actually integral, because we have to strike the rock. And Christ is the rock. He is the cornerstone that everyone rejected. So we have to strike that rock. to activate him. Because we need water and sunshine to grow the plant. And you are the plant. Because you have gone from a think to an ink to an image. With the blood. And the blood is the wine. That Jesus talks about, the new wine. This is why you need new wine skin. Because the old wine skin is dirty. You need new wine skin. Yeah? You can't burn a CD onto an old CD. That's no good. You have to throw it away. Because it's a new image, right? So you got to burn it onto a new CD. You are now, when you're saved through Christ, your whole DNA encoding blood is rewritten immediately to accept and be recoded with the fact that Jesus has already died and crossed over and his image is already there. So we're hopping from this image to his image through growing the seed so that it reaches heaven. It's the brain. It's Solomon's temple with the 24 elders. It's all of the elements that activate all of your neurons and your pathways, your claustrum, making it from think, ink to image. When we're saved by Christ, we're reborn. We get a new wineskin only when we go from think to ink. And then it's up to us, according to the will of God, to follow the will of God with the read, the bread of life, to eat the words, to then receive the sun, and then be the light for that seed to grow, to rewrite our image, to get our new wineskin, because now we are the plant that has grown and we have a wineskin around us. And we're now the grapes as well for the wine. And we are able to produce and give the wine, which is the blood, and share it as well as the water, the living water, and be the light of Christ because he shared it with us. And he gave us access to it through the encoding of the Bible, which also re-encodes who you are from the think to the ink to the image, to make you a new image and a new wineskin. So that you have got the wine that he gave us. It's very amazing. But if you're affected by the technology, teach no logic, right? Then this process is hindered by the teach no logic technology, lights, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and injections, because nurses are omens. And they serve the devil. The devil runs this world, right? All of the fallen angels are running the world. They reproduce themselves. They run Hollywood with the witch's stick. And they cast spells. And your TV is a spellcaster, a programmer for this re-encoding a new image onto you, right? With your router and your magic mirrors. All old mirrors need to be thrown away and smashed up, like God has said. Otherwise, they will burn a new image onto your effing mind. So break all mirrors, and if you're going to watch TV, make sure that it is not going to harm you. I've actually put on a blackout tinting on my TV. For windows for the car, because it affects me. And LED lights I cannot have around me, make me unwell. So TVs are basically, they've done stuff with images in the back of the TV. Your eyes are receivers. So you receive what you're seeing, and it's your reality as you see it. But if you're reading the Bible, then you're going to receive the reality of the Bible more. Then you can take it from thing to ink to image. Only if you read it, though. This is the never-ending story, where you get to create your own reality. Only if they don't hijack your mind first. And this is why this is such an important broadcast. Please share it. That you cannot be following the image of the beast, and you need to protect yourself and separate yourself from it. Do the prayer that Jesus told you, because this is the way to regain the image, because it will become on earth as it is in heaven. All encoded in what Jesus tells you to do. So if you want an idea of what to do, read all of the Bible at Jesus, what he tells you to do. And even if you don't understand it, just have it playing on the audio Bible on your phone, or get an MP3 player and have it playing all the time, and talk to God. God is actually right next to you. Between the image and the think and ink. You can make that happen into an image, because you're in control of your own destiny by following the will of God. God has already made a will, and he has written it, and Jesus executed the will. Well, it hasn't quite been executed yet. He died on the cross. He completed set of words and completed the sentence so that the thing could become ink and the image was manifest. Not just for him, but for all of us. Saving us from the Adam and Eve story, who put us in a state of death. This is about eternal life and the kingdom of God, which now lives inside you. If you've accepted Jesus, because that image is now inside you. But you've got to maintain that image by reading all about it and being the light, because sharing the light of Christ activates your own image. Okay? Hope you understand. Wow. Very amazing. It's Ayesha from God FM. I hope you have an amazing day. If you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, as well as TikTok and Telegram as God FM News, God FM New, God FM Radio, and God FM Group. And you can email me, admin@godfm.org.uk, and you can WhatsApp me, +44 777 35 777 88. Have a good day. God bless you.